Nice to have you again on Trailblazers Africa this Saturday morning. And if you are watching the repeat on Monday, it's still the same. You have not mixed so much. This is a program that brings to you Africans that are contributing to their various community, because we believe that it is your contribution that can make this continent of Africa a better place for all of us. Today, I'll be speaking with a one-time teacher, a classroom teacher, whose best vocation is to handle chalk. But today, he's been challenging, other members in the house in deciding on what to make the country, move forward. Talking about a member of the house, he is an MP, and he'll be telling us how the journey started, how he got into this office, and of course, what we can do as a continent so that all of us will be happy for it. Honorable Theophilus Tetteh Chaie is my guest on the program from Ablekuma Central. I'd like to welcome you to Trailblazers Africa.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to see some of you in the house. At times, you begin to wonder where some of you manufacture some of the grammars. Did those grammar come naturally, or?
When it comes to expression, people sometimes do things just to attract attention. Okay. Yeah, and as such, sometimes certain things come out of the house. When you are sitting behind your set watching, you may think members of parliament are just in the house making fun. But the nature of the work is such that it's very stressful. And you need people of different backgrounds in order to make the work move forward. So sometimes you have people in the house who sometimes put in words that actually make the whole house excited, and I think it's good for us as a parliament. Yeah.
Before I go into the main issue, someone told me that at times when the house is dull, and a jackal will just come and make some jokes like funny face, and the whole house begin to laugh.
Yeah.
Have you done that before?
Well, sometimes. Heckling is also part of the parliamentary process. So sometimes when you see that your opponent is trying to put in certain things that will score him that political points, you also come in with certain jargons that will at least derail his line of thought. Yeah, and it makes the whole house excited. So these are some of the things sometimes we do too.
So you actually look at yourself and look for a way to attack and not to make your political opponent score points. Just like
it happens that way, yeah. Yeah. Because he wants to be heard. And the cameras are there, they are all trying to pick on issues that will attract public attention. And sometimes if you allow a member to run down your government, in such a way that at the end of the day it will be a very bad press for you. You need to come in at a point to try and then derail his line of thought. Yeah.
So it's deliberate most times.
Oh, sometimes it's deliberate. Yeah.
Well, before you became an MP, you were a school teacher.
Yeah.
From school teacher to the house.
Yeah.
How did it begin? What did you study?
I don't know whether I should start from.
You can start
from the family right down to. Okay, as you rightly said, my name is Theophilus Tetteh Chaie. I'm a Gandangbe. That is from the Greater Accra region. My hometown is Osudoku in the Dangbe West district. Osudoku. Shire Hills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's where my home.
You are not from the farm.
No. And I'm the third born in our family. Yeah, we are 6 in number, 3 girls, 3 boys, and I'm the third born. Yeah. My parents, my mom was a trader, and then my dad, a lotto receiver. In fact, they started national lotteries. They were the pioneers, and we all grew up. I grew up in Tema, Newtown. Yeah. I came to Accra. We came to Accra in 1979 when my dad managed to put up a house within the Ablekuma Central constituency, specifically within the Zawama line area. So that is where we've lived all these years. I attended Datus Preparatory School, and then from there I moved to Infant Swim Secondary School. I've not had the opportunity to attend any university in this country, but I have done a lot of courses outside UK programs. I have a postgraduate chartered marketing certificate from the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK. And then currently I'm in Gimpa studying governance and leadership, executive master's program in governance and leadership. But due to my political activities, I'm finding attending school even very difficult. Yeah, so that is my background in terms of academic.
Said, let me cut you short there.
Yeah.
Gimpa, someone said if you have money, you can always buy the lecturers over. How many of the lecturers have you bought?
Well, for me, since I started, I'm from a very, let's say, average background. My parents are not that rich, but then they see schooling as something very, very important. And throughout my stay in school, we've never attended any public school. Although, yes, with the limited resources that my dad had, he made sure that all his children attended private schools. So that is how we started. But then, as to the question that you posed, I've heard of that. But, we are from a background that discipline is the key. And so, although we hear of some of certain things, but I mean, actually, I have never seen such things with my naked eye. No, not at all.
Well, he's a member of the parliament, so he wouldn't want, because if he says that, then I will stand against him in the house. So he's also a member of the Education Select Committee.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at, your education from secondary. Then you were a teacher in the classroom. Which school did you teach?
I taught at St. Charles Preparatory School. At Banana Inn for so many years. I started from class 2 as a pupil teacher. Went through primary, JSS, and then became the head of the school. And
so it's just that one school that you taught?
Yeah.
That was where you became the HM?
And I had the interest when I had my national service. Because during my national service, I was posted as a pupil teacher in one of the schools in Dansoman. Dansoman cluster, I think 1 and 2 cluster of schools. That was where I taught during the national service. So I had the interest right from there. So immediately from national service, I just went straight into teaching. And those that I've handled in terms of my classes today are all very big guys in the city. Wow. They take academic work very seriously because when I teach you in the classroom, I make sure that, first of all, discipline will be your guiding principle. Because in this country of ours, one thing that we lack is how to discipline ourselves. And as a result, as you rightly said, students don't find it necessary to learn. Some students, they don't find it necessary to learn. They think at the end of the day, it is the lecturer whom you have to see to enhance your grades. No. You need to discipline yourself, find time for yourself, learn, and at the end of the day, you get to where the Almighty God wants you to get to. Because if you don't help yourself, who will help you? You help yourself, and then God will also add His blessings. So I've gone through the very hard way. And when I became the head of the school, it was at that time that we had our junior high school in the school. And from the days I managed the school, in terms of performance, very, very, very good.
What would you say has changed from the time you were in teaching, you were a teacher, and now? Have you seen any difference?
Yeah.
Schools now, and the time you were there, the time you were a teacher, and now what would you say at? In
terms of my personal life, or
no, I mean in our educational systems.
Well, education is also dynamic. and it should change with the times. Yeah, because what we did 10 or 15 years ago, those things should not be done now. Today we are in a technological age where internet is being used to access information. So as the time changes, you also need to adjust to the changes, and that will make you move ahead of each and every one. So definitely a lot of things have changed. Yeah.
So you really love teaching?
Very, very. Even as a member of parliament, I still do teach.
Who do you teach now? Some of the members in the house?
Not some of my members. I have some students. Even my own daughter, I teach her in the house.
Wow.
Yeah. I help her do her homework.
I'm sure the daughter is also watching. Your daddy say
she's in school now.
No, she will surely see you.
Yeah.
That you do teach her at home. I hope daddy is saying the truth. Is daddy saying the truth? All right. Then some of the students that he has taught, you have also seen him today. Now, at what point did the politics, come in as a teacher? Somebody who is holding chalk, now decide that look, no.
Let me say, I'm more of a social worker, not in terms of academic, no, but then practically. Since my youthful days, I've been working with all the assembly members that were elected in my electoral area. In fact, I've worked with Chief Idris Musa, Honorable Kapo, and then our first member of parliament, Ishmael Bawa. He was our first member of parliament in the 1992, when the fourth Republican Constitution was promulgated. And I've worked very closely with them. I do a lot of community service when it comes to clean up, helping the children go to a very important sites within this country. I normally do organize those things for them, just to make sure that at least it broadens their rise in terms of the academic work. So that was how I started. And in Infanspim, Infanspim is a school where you are trained to be a leader. Yeah, because if you enter Infanspim school, the first thing that you'll be taught to do is to discipline. How you dress, how you talk, and then current affairs is one thing that when you are in Infanspim school, you always be abreast with. So I started from Infanspim school. I rose to become a house prefect of Pickard Parker, one of the, let me say, the most hygienic houses in the school. If not today, but I believe that it's still one of the most hygienic, school in house in the school. So that was how I started my leadership career, and since then I have not gone back. Yeah.
You've been pursuing your vision.
And then I have also served the party in various capacities. I started as a branch secretary of the party. I rose to become a ward secretary of the party. I became a constituency secretary of the party for 2 consecutive times. And then I also became the deputy regional secretary of the NDC in Greater Accra before I contested as a parliamentary candidate for the NDC.
So by the time you were contesting, your noise is is everywhere. People know you already.
Definitely, yeah.
But let's take a look at coming into a full-time politics. Do you do it as a full-time work now, or you still do other things by the side?
No, currently I'm doing full-time because the parliamentary work is such that if you really want to satisfy government's work, that is parliamentary work, and then satisfy party work, at the same time satisfy your constituents, it should be a full-time job. Because when you are divided in terms of maybe concentrating on your work and so on and so forth, you will not be able to perform as a member of parliament. Because each day you are bombarded with a lot of documents, and you need to scrutinize those documents to be able to understand what you are going to the issues that you are going to debate, and then be able to contribute meaningfully to ensure that the democracy that we are practicing is enhanced. So if you are a member of parliament and you are so much divided that you cannot even sit down to read, definitely you will not be able to make any meaningful contribution in the house. And I can say that since I entered into the house, I have contributed immensely to a lot of contributions which are of national importance. Okay. Yeah. And if time is
I'll be going into that at the later part of this program.
Okay.
You said something: satisfy your party, satisfy your nation, satisfy the government, satisfy your constituency.
Yeah.
How do you satisfy your constituency? Is it when they come to you, my school fees, my children?
As a member of parliament, you have several roles that you play. First and foremost, your major role is to legislate. That is the most important aspect of the member of parliament. But then, you entered into parliament not with your certificate that you have or your knowledge in terms of academics, no. But then you entered into parliament through the will of the people. So the people saw some qualities in you. They realized that as a person, you'll be able to represent them effectively. So the moment you enter into parliament, although your major role is to legislate, your constituents, their issues should be very high on the agenda. And they expect a lot from you as a member of parliament. You know, we are having a growing democracy. Our democracy has been truncated on several occasions. Yeah. But thankfully, in 1992, when we have this new constitution, at least we've been able to practice it over 2 decades. Getting to 2 decades now, yeah. So it means this is one of the best times that we are having good parliamentary process taking place. So the mindset of the people is not totally out of developmental issues. So they expect that once they've elected you into office, issues concerning their welfare in terms of development within their electoral areas, you should be able to champion those things for them. So that is
should that be is that your responsibility or the responsibility of all members in the house?
You know, when it comes to development, we have institutions that are mandated to ensure development takes place.
Okay.
We have the district assemblies, and that is the lowest level that we have when it comes to bringing development to the doorsteps of the people.
Okay.
Now, most of the resources are centered around the central government. We've not yet decentralized fully as a country.
Okay.
Still, the central government holds on to some of the resources for obvious reasons. In terms of, you know, there are some critical emergency works that needs to be done in.
Meaning that we are still unitary in our system.
Yeah. So the government controls a lot of resources at that high level as compared to the district assemblies. And as a member of parliament, you have the opportunity to interact with ministers of state who are holding responsible ministries, which are ministries that are developmental oriented. So as a member of parliament, as part of your legislative work, you also lobby from your ministers as to some of the developmental projects that needs to be brought to your area. And because they control much of the resources, when you get the nod from that side, it makes development very easy in your area. So lobbying is one of our major attributes as members of parliament. Because if you don't lobby for projects for your area, no, we are all competing for limited resources. And government has its own plan. It depends on how you cry as a baby. Because
your parents will hear your voice.
Yeah. And that is how your parents will hear.
Putting the the available resources into consideration. By the time all of you are crying, I know you are over 1,000 people.
In my constituency?
No. I mean,
in Parliament? Yes. We are 230 now.
Now, 230 people crying for development. The resources, if not available, would that not pose a challenge?
You know, when it comes to development, government try as much as possible to spread development equitably. Okay. But then, the targeted areas, that is the question. Government may decide that in this area, we are providing you with, let's say, street lights. As to where the street lights needs to be fixed, is something that the people within the community has to determine. Because government is not with the people within the community. So as a representative, you live with the people in the area. You know the areas that are sitting on time bombs, that need urgent attention.
Okay.
So as an MP, it is your duty to ensure that the resources that are going to be allocated should be targeted at areas that the people need those services most.
Well, I'll be asking Honorable Tetteh Chaie more questions in that area, because I have seen a situation, Honorable, where some people will come to bring their personal, challenge to the MP. And I was told that even some of you, when you wake up in the morning, your sitting room is full.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's the constituency head office or whatever. Now, should that really be so? I want it to be very, clear. The people will still go.
I was talking about some of our functions as members of Parliament, and I spoke about the legislative role, the facilitating development, and then the other one is oversight responsibility. We check how government uses the money that we allocate in the budget. So we have various committees. I'm on the select committee on education. So all issues concerning education within the country, resources allocated, how the resources are used, we ensure that government is held accountable. Aside that, a member of Parliament has what we call a social responsibility. We are in a country where culture is well respected. And at every function, we want our chiefs to sit in state as a sign of recognition of what is being done. So as a member of Parliament, we also have a social function where institutions, clubs, social groupings, and so on and so forth, we would like to invite you to attend their programs, to add your, let me say, personality to whatever function that is going on. That is one aspect of the member of Parliament. And to be honest with you, if you are not, even as a member of Parliament, if you are not able to do that, that alone can lead to your exit as a member of Parliament. Yes. It is very critical, because the people don't actually need money from you. Not at all. But your presence at functions, they get satisfaction out of it. I've organized this social forum, let's say a cleanup exercise. The MP is invited to join. He comes, he joins with the people, they all do the work. And the people are satisfied that, look, even our MP was part of the exercise. Are you all doing that? Yeah, we do. But I'm not saying you are speaking for yourself, because I could call another MP and he will say, "Oh no, I can't do that." Yeah, it depends on where you are at a particular time. There are MPs who actually do not stay in their communities. Okay. Yeah, so therefore they only visit occasionally. That is maybe weekends or when Parliament is on recess. There are some of us who are always with our constituents, morning, afternoon, evening. And that is where the pressure is. Because you are always within them. Each and anybody who wants to see you has the opportunity to see you. So those who are outside the constituencies, sometimes they delegate a lot.
Okay.
So they themselves do not actually involve themselves in the activities.
So will it now be right? Because this is Trailblazers Africa.
Yeah.
I've interacted with most leaders in Africa. Will it be right for a member, somebody aspiring to be a member of parliament, of senate, of whatever, House of Rep in some countries, to be promising the people free education, promising the people good road, promising the people water and all of it during campaign?
Well, a member of parliament cannot promise his constituents that he is going to provide them with road networks, that he is going to provide them with street lights, that he is going to provide them with water and so on and so forth, because that is government's policy. The president will be in a position to do that, because policy formulation is going to come from the executive. So those things can be done. But what the MP needs to do, for instance, during my elections, I told my people I'll provide them with quality leadership that will translate into quality education, infrastructural development, and crime reduction. So you are not specific as to what you are going to do. But then what the people know is that when it comes to crime, my member of parliament has given us his word that he will be somebody who will ensure that crime is reduced. Now, as to how the crime is reduced, the people don't know. Okay? It's different from somebody telling you that I'm going to build this road, so vote for me. It's a different thing. That is totally wrong.
That is wrong, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to fix this street light. I'm going to provide you with electrical poles. No. You cannot do that.
Okay. Sorry, let me quickly take this before we go on the break. You mentioned that crime reduction.
Yeah.
Now, the MP, does he have the power to relate with the security personnel within his constituency in ensuring proper crime reduction, liaise with the district assembly and what of that?
Yeah.
Do you do all of that?
When you talk of crime reduction, one, it takes the leadership. Because, in our politics, as a young member of parliament, I've come to realize one thing. Sometimes we believe that even with the wrongs in the society, we need to just close our eyes on those wrongs in the society just because of the votes. Do you get it? So sometimes you have leaders or members of parliament who don't care whatever happens in their area. We know areas where crime is prone. You see members of parliament rather in a way encouraging those type of behavior. And it is done in so many ways. Let's assume you are a member of parliament. The only thing you do is that people go to rob. When they rob, and then as a member of parliament, you go to the police station to use your influence to ensure that that armed robber is released. It is not productive. Do you get it? So in a way, you as a member of parliament, you are rather promoting crime. Do you get it? But if I'm a member of parliament, and I have, let's say, several police stations around me, and they lack even pen and paper, computers to even process information, and I provide those things, what you are doing is you are enhancing crime reduction, because you make their work very easy for them to actually work very fast. If you have, let's say, you form watchdog committees just to ensure crime is reduced, it means you are enhancing crime reduction. If you support the police service in terms of how they do their work, in terms of sometimes limited resources, you paint their offices for them, you change their furniture for them. These are little things that you do.
Encouraging them.
And then they also become
more responsible.
Yes, motivated to do the work, because the police service, they lack a lot of resources. Yeah. So that is a way of handling the issue. It's the same as infrastructure. When we talk of infrastructure, there are several, for me, let's say my area, for instance, it's a deprived area within the metropolis. And their problems are drains, road networks, and so on and so forth. But you can't go to an area and tell them, I'm coming to build this drain for you. No. You see? But as an MP on a platform, you can tell the people, when I come into office, I will facilitate the development of infrastructure in terms of road networks and so on and so forth. And your role is to facilitate. You cannot do it.
The role of a member of parliament is to facilitate.
Yeah. And then lobby.
Do it, they can't do. You can go ahead and lobby. You know, I like to deal with people who are very sincere, people who really know what their job entails, not the noisemakers that will be blowing their trumpet and do nothing at the end of the day. Let's go for this short break, and then when we return, it's the word of Mabu. When we return, I'll be asking him the relationship between him and the Accra Metropolitan, that is the AMA, and all of that. And again, what can we do on the continent of Africa to use the houses, different houses, be it House of Rep, House of Parliament, to bring about, you know, unity in the continent of Africa. We'll be back after this word of Mabu. You're welcome back. The program is still Trailblazers Africa, and I've been speaking with Honorable Theophilus Tetteh Chaie. He's the MP representing Ablekuma Central in the House, and also the Education Select Committee member and member holding office of profit.
Yeah, members holding office of profit.
I like the word profit.
Yeah, it's a standing committee.
Do you count money?
No. It is a standing committee in Parliament. And what that committee does is to hold the members of Parliament accountable. It's not only the members of Parliament, Article 71 office holders. You know, as a member of Parliament, you are not supposed to do any other work aside your parliamentary function. But then our procedures in Parliament allows the member of Parliament to do so. But before you do that as a member of Parliament, you need to justify why you should be allowed to do that work. 2, whether in doing that work, it will conflict with your parliamentary attendance, your effectiveness in Parliament. Because people come into Parliament with several professional background. Assuming the person is a lawyer, is a lecturer, he is still in Parliament, his services are needed in maybe the university because of the experience he or she has. She may decide that, okay, I can offer my services after parliamentary work. Parliament ends at 2 o'clock. So after 2 o'clock, you are allowed to do whatever you want to do. But because you are not supposed to hold any office apart from the office that you are holding, you need to apply to Madam Speaker for special permission to be granted. And a certificate is issued. That is when you are granted that permission. Okay. And that will allow you to do work outside your official duty. And you'll be monitored by that committee as to how efficient you are in the House. And if it is found out that as a result of the permission that has been granted, your work in the House is not the best, Madam Speaker's attention will be drawn, and then your decision will be revoked.
The holding, will be with her.
Yeah.
Can such person be removed?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Now, you are in the Greater Accra region, and you have the Accra Metropolitan Assembly.
Yeah.
What do you have a kind of rapport with the Honorable Mayor some of you who are members of parliament within the AMA?
Yeah, in fact, I can confidently say that most of our, if not all, of the members of parliament have very good working relationship with the mayor, because he's somebody who is a team player. And I have had very excellent relationship with him. You realize that almost at all times when programs are organized in terms of cleanups, things that the mayor does, I'm always with him. Simply because he's somebody who wants to see results. Whatever he does, he wants to ensure that at the end of the day, some good results will come out of it. And since coming into office, he's brought a lot of sanity, discipline, and infrastructural improvement within the Accra metropolis. And I can say confidently that my constituency have benefited immensely from the mayor of Accra. As I talk to you now, just yesterday, a facility has been granted to my constituency where in one electoral area, every year when it floods, property of people are lost, lives are lost, and so on and so forth. As I talk to you now, we've had a facility from the mayor where construction of storm drains are going to take place. And this is a big relief to the people within the area. And it's as a result of
facilitated by you.
Yeah, my good working relationship with the mayor. Yeah, benefited a lot of schools in my community, a lot of them. Yeah, it has never happened in my constituency.
Now, well, I don't want to. I'll be asking you about your constituency. Yeah. Then, what do you think? Because you gave them crime reduction the other time. Yeah. So what now? But let's look at the continent of Africa as a whole. Has there been any time most of you, especially the parliaments across the country, I mean the continent, come together, discuss issues that borders on development of the continent of Africa?
Yeah, as a member of parliament, I've had the opportunity to be in a delegation to South Africa, that's Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. And obviously, when we talk of countries of the Commonwealth, it's not only from the African countries, but then there are some other European countries also involved. But mostly, we have a lot of African countries represented. And the aim of this association is to harness our resources, our knowledge, build capacity to enhance democracy in our various regions or African countries. And it has really helped because through such capacity building conferences, your capacity to work to ensure that oversight in terms of making sure that the pairs are used effectively to the benefit of the people. You are actually giving a lot of tutorials and practical experiences. And as a young member of parliament, that will also help you to actually perform very creditably in your parliament.
You keep using the word young member of the parliament.
Yeah.
What makes you young?
Especially in Africa.
Okay.
If you don't have gray hair, you are not considered as somebody who can lead. Yes. Even at the workplace, where if you see a manager is somebody who is nearing his grave. But, as a country or as African countries, we need to shift focus. Because I believe that most of the times, the youth, they have the energy. The work that me as a member of parliament can do within, let's say, 1 hour. Somebody who is around 70, 65 will take some time to do such a work. But then he has the knowledge, the experience. So there is a need for us as a country to blend the young and the old. So that whilst the young will serve as the technological base in terms of speed, You have the aged who also provide the experience. And that will accelerate the developmental agenda of this country. That is why today in this country, our banks are performing. Other institutions that are using the young men to drive their institutions are really moving. But you still need the boardroom members, those who have the experience, to put in the necessary mechanisms that will make the young men work. Because we have the energy. You don't have to waste the energy in your youthful stage, and then you only be given the opportunity when you are about to go to your grave. I don't think it is the best for Africa. And as a country, we are moving away from that. I quite remember when I stood as a member of parliament 4 years ago. I was very young. And when you go to the people and you talk to them, but this small boy, what can he do? But to be honest with you, for the 4 years that I've led my people, one thing that I'm happy about is that they refer to me as somebody who has actually quickened the space of development in the constituency. Yes. And it's as a result of the fact that I have the energy and I'm prepared to work.
The information I gathered was that Ablekuma Central was a tough place, maybe for your party. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was why maybe by the time you came, they said, this young man, what can he do?
Oh, no, not, that is not the issue. You know, Ablekuma Central Constituency is a metropolitan area. And normally in the metropolis, it's very difficult when it comes to elections. But that particular constituency, apart from 1992, where the MPP did not contest the parliamentary elections. You know, in 1992, after the presidential elections when the MPP lost, they boycotted the parliamentary. So that was the first time we had a member of parliament who was an NDC member. But since then, we've lost that seat to the MPP until 2008 when I stood as a candidate, and then, God willing, we took the seat away from the MPP. So this year's election, they are working very, very, very hard. But I know it will be very difficult for them because with the work that I have done, the people are no more looking at the political parties, but they are looking for effective leadership.
That is another angle.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be an opportunity for you, perhaps, to educate some of our people, not only in Accra, now, everywhere in the country. Now, when we are, about to vote, do we look at the political party or the personality behind? Who do we vote for?
You know, every political party is formed with certain level of human resource. Because, first of all, you need a human resource to drive all the various institutions within the country to accelerate growth. So, first of all, you look for the political party that has that, let me say, you can harness a lot of quality human resource from. Because if you have bad leaders, it will translate into poor performance. When you have good leaders, it will translate into better performance. Now, we have been cultured in such a way that we only follow the political parties based on their symbols, their slogans, and so on and so forth. And actually, we don't look at the people behind those political parties. I always tell my people at the grassroots that, look, if even that is being done at the presidential level, when it comes to the constituency level, you should know your welfare is at stake. If you elect somebody who is lazy, he will never follow up on projects in the area. He will never attend to your cause in terms of social issues. So there are several factors that the electorate needs to look at. And sometimes our political campaigning is so much influenced with resources that, especially the youth, they sometimes forget about the quality aspect of the person. And at the end of the day, when you are influenced with the resources, the person comes into office and the entire constituency is neglected. So you continue to wallow in abject poverty. You continue to wallow in abject poverty to the extent that at the end of the day, you even lose interest in the multi-party democracy that we are practicing.
But if you ask me, I would say Ghana is very fortunate this time around. Most of the candidates, especially coming out for the presidential office, they are all well-to-do people.
It is not about what to do.
And they have what to offer.
They have what it takes to become leaders. Is that what you want to say? Yeah, for Ghana, we are really blessed. When it comes to the human resource, we have it. Okay? But how to harness that human resources to come out with effective, efficient, or economic growth, that is one thing. We have that. And we need to build upon it.
Okay.
And that is why the youth who are also coming up also needs to look at how best to ensure that we put up leaders who actually enhance our livelihood in terms of ensuring that developments are brought to the doorsteps. Because one, if you look at one of my areas, the Zongos, for instance, in Ghana, when we mention the Zongos, there is a negativity. It's a shanty area, a slum, no drainage systems.
Like the government abandoned
yeah. All sorts of diseases are found in those areas, and so on and so forth. It shouldn't be so. That mindset needs to change. How is that mindset going to be changed? By providing leaders who will come to realize that when the conditions of people living in slums areas are changed, it goes a long way to improve upon the poverty level of the entire country. Well, let me tell you something. If you go to a place like Sodom and Gomorrah, it's a slum. There are a lot of diseases that are generated from that area. When let's say a particular disease, let's say cholera, comes up from that area, it spreads to other areas.
And it becomes a problem for the state.
When sexually transmitted diseases come out from those areas, it spreads across the country. So it is the duty of government to rather focus attention on those areas to improve their standard of living by providing the needed infrastructure in terms of roads, drainage systems, hospitals, things that will actually go a long way to make the living conditions of those people.
We have just like 5 minutes to go, and I want you to comment on 3 more issues. Now, what is the stand of some of you in the parliament as regards the coming election? Is going to be peaceful or is win by all means?
To be honest with you, no country thrives when there is war. And I've always said and told my people that never in the history of any country in this world will you see a political leader like myself, like leading people to fight, be in the forefront, or my son or my daughter or my wife leading people to cause mayhem. It has never happened. Rather, it is the vulnerable in the society who are used to do those things. So I've always told my constituents that, look, we should never as a country allow any politician to lead us into making or creating violence. Because at the end of the day, when the violence comes up and then it leads to destruction, the very person who initiated it will not be found. His passport is ready. You see him at the British Embassy, American Embassy, and before you realize he has been airlifted to another country to have whatever booty he has to spend, whilst you will be having guns and other ammunitions killing yourself. And for Ghana as a country, we are very peace-loving. And therefore, you realize that with this year's election, as much as possible, most politicians have been able to reduce the tension. But there are still some recalcitrant ones amongst us. And anytime I meet my people, what I tell them is that we should always reject people who comes up to insult, people who comes up to inflame passions, things that will go a long way to destabilize the peace that we have as a country. When the electorate start rejecting them, no politician will ever mount a stage and instead of addressing issues, will attack personality.
Now, from all you have said now, you represent Ablekuma Central presently.
Yeah.
Are you recontesting?
Yeah, I'm still running as a member of parliament.
Oh, I thought you are no more.
I'm still running.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still running. And I'm having a very good feedback from my people. As I rightly told you, within the short stay in office, I've been able to achieve a lot for them in terms of infrastructural development, both educational-wise and then within the various communities. And they have the confidence in me. They have the confidence in me, yeah.
Well, he said these people has a confidence. His people have confidence in him. And I want to also say, well, he's been talking very confidently, if you ask me. And a little would you know that he's just a member of the parliament you think is the president of the country. The way you've been talking, you have spoken more of a president than a member of parliament. Finally, what is your message to fellow Ghanaians as we go into the election proper and other politicians like you?
Yeah, the program is Trailblazers Africa. It's a very wonderful program. And first of all, I would like to recommend this program to almost all the networks within Ghana and Africa. I believe that when politicians like us and people who can influence the society are brought to the limelight, it also helps the young ones to also aspire to such leadership positions. Because sometimes if you want to interview a member of parliament, people think that is somebody who has the gray hair, as I rightly said. Somebody will be watching the set and he will be saying, but this young man, how did he enter into parliament? We need to encourage the young ones. And I believe that as a country and Africa as a whole, we should have confidence in the youth. We should actually help the youth to exhibit the God-given talents that they have. We should not discourage them from doing what is right. And wherever they find themselves, let us give them the opportunity to serve. And I also want to caution that those who are given the opportunity to serve, they shouldn't take that opportunity for granted. Because if you take it for granted, that will also prevent those who are coming behind you not being given the opportunity to serve. Because sometimes when we the youth are given the opportunity, sometimes we tend to be arrogant, we tend to be disrespectful, and it goes a long way to prevent
the chance
of others coming. So once you are given the opportunity, it is humility, dedication, and then service to your nation.
Thank you very much, Honorable Theophilus Tetteh Chaie, the MP, Ablekuma Central. I want to thank you for being part of the program. Well, just like you said, the people have confidence in you, and I hope that confidence will be translated into whatever that will still be to your advantage, I guess, when we are to the pool, God's willing. I like somebody like this. It's not whatever God will do, He will surely do. Thank you so much for coming once again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'll be saying bye-bye from here. I want to say a big thank you to all the production crew, and of course to say happy married life to a good friend and brother, Emmanuel Okesin, the managing director of City Light, who got married last weekend. Well, the wedding was a very wonderful one. I was there myself, and it was a talk of the town. Congratulations, and take good care of Sister Edna for all of us. Moses Owopade is my name. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.